Tracy from ZaraDarkMagic.com here with another product flip through. This time we're going to take a look at the new coloring book Adventures Outlined by illustrations by Todd James from Dungeons and Dragons and Wizards of the Coast. It's a coloring book, as you can see right away. So this product was provided to me by Wizards of the Coast for this review. Just getting that out of the way right away. And one thing I noticed right away is the paper is pretty thick. I haven't tried it with any media yet, so I don't know how it will hold up with various things, but I do have another coloring book here where the paper feels a little bit lighter, and with a coating of clear gesso I was able to use watercolor on it no problem, and I had been able to do some work with markers, alcohol markers on it. As you can see, it bleeds through. So I think this paper will hold up pretty well for the stuff that I do. And yeah, it's a bunch of line art drawings with a fair amount of black thrown in, probably due to the artist's styles, which we'll go through at the end because there's a blurb about him. And then the other thing is, and I forget the author's name at this point, but it is at the back of the book. They provide not only an image, but oftentimes like a little bit like this is the March of the Undead, and it gives a little bit of story, which is great too in terms of folks looking for ideas for their game or just, you know, source of inspiration. This could also be useful for this. So this one, for instance, says, after its defeat, Grizzlox joined an army of zombies which wandered across the stormy moors singing songs of woe. And I love, I have to be honest, I love the artwork. I don't have it with me right now, but I do have the original, or not the original, but the previous coloring book with a lot of the Forgotten Realms things, and while that is also wonderful, I tend to be a little bit more on the absurd and ridiculous side, so this sort of artwork definitely fits much better for me. And I love the fair amount of black ink being used. Gives me a lot of reminders of Inktober and stuff like that. But black can be kind of hard to get with a lot of the media you use in coloring books, particularly as a flat color, and because usually you get streaks or something like that, so that's a lot of fun too. And also you could use some things like color pencils or some gel pens to do interesting things against black that you can't do against the white page. I know some folks, Teos in particular, I think really loves flumps, so happy to see these here. And then the one thing I do notice, so for the most part, these pages are, left side is a description of the artwork that is on the right side, which means that they're not back to back. Occasionally through the book you have these double page spreads, which of course are do have artwork on the back of at least half of it. And the reason why that's important is because I showed you in the other book that I do sometimes use markers, unless you're willing to lose this page. Like oftentimes I won't care if marker bleeds onto this part, you should still be able to read it, everything is fine. But like for instance, if I were to color with alcohol marker on this page, it would bleed through here, and then it's a question of whether or not I'm okay with it. And I will do a separate video where maybe I test out some media on various pages to see how how it feels. But this page feels pretty smooth, which I think it'll be pretty good for color pencils and won't cause issues for Copics or other alcohol markers. And everything looks super fun to color in. And as you can tell, there are a lot of pages. I am maybe not even halfway through yet in this flip through, and Bristlebeard's Folly. Nice gelatinous cube. a gibbering mess, null bashing. So yeah, see, and I really love a lot of these double 2-page spreads. I'm just in my own mind like, oh man, how much time did it take for the artist to create all of this artwork? Because I feel like this is definitely a bit of a project. Because even if you did one a day, there's a lot in here. This Minotaur is just, I know he's got this big axe, but to me he looks a little like he's dancing, as is definitely that character, female fighter. So, and the author, the writer for this is great too. Oh my god. So it looks like they have sunglasses, even though I know it's just like, they just have black sockets for their eyes. Cave drums. Leroy and his Myconid band love to play on their fungal drums for the gnomes who live deep in the Underdark. Few adventurers have been lucky enough to hear the strange rhythmic music echo through the cavernous halls, which on its own could launch, campaigns, and that's awesome. Or like, just ways of bringing in other senses in terms of how you describe things is great. I know I just read this one, the previous one, but I have to read this one because it made me laugh earlier. Don't stare at the owlbear. Owlbears are fuzzy. Owlbears are cute. They're tall as 3 people in a fur suit. Owlbears are floofy, sweet as can be. No, wait! Is that owlbear going to eat me? Sorry, it makes me laugh. So yeah. And it doesn't just stick to dungeons or just the Underdark. I love that we go to lots of different areas and really explore things rope-a-dope. And there's a bunch of characters in here too that you can pull out and use in campaigns. So I don't think it's just for people who love coloring, although I would definitely buy it for anyone who loved coloring. Or, obviously kids as well who tend to love coloring. But I think I would use it too for just inspiration if I'm at a point where I can't think of something good. Pulling this out would definitely be useful. Slod, not salad, which is, I often accidentally misread it as salad, I'll be honest. And also these are great in terms of, because there's a lot of different monsters in here. If you happen to use something like an Umber Hulk and you haven't been happy with other pictures you've used, or enough of this matches a party or something else in your game, it could be really fun to include these in here too. Rather than the picture from a monster manual or something else, pull out one of these guys that you've customized and colored for your own. And that is it. So there's a lot there. Again, the art is by Todd James, an American artist. The writer is Adam Lee, who has worked for Magic the Gathering. And I love this is the last page of it, and then there's some free space here if you wanted to do tests. So yeah, so that's the whole coloring book. If you like this video, please click subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon.